All right, so today's lesson is 1.08 converse of Pythagorean theorem. You'll definitely need your math notebook, pencil, and your calculator. Again, please make sure you are taking notes, working the problems out, and we'll go ahead and get started. So essential question, how do I use the Pythagorean theorem to identify right triangles? I will be able to use the Pythagorean theorem to identify right triangles so that I can use the formula to determine if it is a right triangle. I'll know I got it if I can draw conclusions about right triangles. So is it a right triangle? And we have our theorem, our formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You can tell whether each triangle is a right triangle or not by using the Pythagorean theorem. The longest side, the biggest number, it's going to always be the C. So you plug in the numbers. We have our formula. We're going to decide if this one's a right triangle or not by using our Pythagorean theorem. So we have 9 squared plus 40 squared is equal to 41 squared. So if that's true, it's going to be a right triangle. Well, this is 81. You can use your calculator. 40 squared is 1,600 or 1,600. And you add those together, it's 1,681. Well, now we need to figure out what 41 squared is. Use your calculator. I wouldn't want to guess that. It comes out to 1,681. How about that? So that's a true statement. So they are congruent there, the same numbers. So yes, this is a right triangle. Let's try the next one. We have our formula, a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. We're going to do 8 squared plus 10 squared. Does it equal 12 squared? I know 8 squared is 64, 10 squared is 100, and 12 squared is 144. Not equal, because that's 164. This is 144. Those do not equal each other, so it is not a right triangle. So the answer there is no, it is not. So let's determine this one. Are the sides given a right triangle? So 25 is our largest. That's going to be our C. And so we set it up, 7 squared plus 24 squared. Will it equal 25 squared? I know 7 squared is 49. I'm going to use my calculator to do 24 squared. Make sure you're using yours and writing these in your math notebook. That's 576. Now let's go ahead and do 25 squared on the calculator. No guessing, please. Use the calculator. That's 625. So are they congruent? Well, we need to add 49 plus 576. Voila! Guess what? It is 625. So those are the same answers there. So yes, it is. Answer is yes. It's a right triangle. So this, you can also have a rectangle, and when you put the diagonal in there, you have 2 right triangles of equal size. So this tells us the length of the rectangle is 15 and the width is 8. So I'm going to change this. We're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to determine or to find the diagonal here. This is just extra practice with Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to go 8 squared plus 15 squared is equal to c squared. 64 is 8 squared. 15 squared to 25. Add those together. 64 plus 225 is 289, and that's c squared. So c will be the square root of 289. Remember, use your calculator to find the square root. You're going to do second x squared 289 and press enter, and it's 17. So 17 is the hypotenuse there. Well, did you know that TVs are measured diagonally? So if that was a TV, that would have been a 17-inch TV. So let's see the size of this TV. If the length is 24 and the width is 10. So we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. We're going to have 10 squared plus 24 squared. 10 squared is 100. I'm not going to begin to guess what 24 squared is. I think it's 576, but let's use the calculators. It is 576. And then we're going to add those together. And we find c by doing the square root of 676. So let me go ahead and do that. Second x squared, 676, 26. So c is 26. So the TV would be a 26-inch TV. All right, a couple more practice problems with finding using the Pythagorean theorem to determine if it's a right triangle. Remember, this is called the converse of Pythagorean theorem. The longest side is always the hypotenuse. So we're going to go ahead. We have our formula: a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So we're going to do 8 squared plus 15 squared. What will it equal? 17 squared. 8 squared is 64. 15 squared is 225. Might need to use your calculator. 17 squared is going to be 289. You add 64 plus the 225. It's 289. So yes, this is a right triangle. All right, last one. So the 15 is going to be our hypotenuse because it's the largest number. A squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So we're going to do 11 squared plus 13 squared. Will it equal 15 squared? 11 squared is 121. 13 squared is 169. And 15 squared is 225. We add 169 and 121. What does that equal? 290. That does not equal 225. So no, this is not a right triangle. All right, please make sure that you go through the whole lesson, the OMS lessons, do all of it, take notes, work out problems, do your best.